I think one of the first big reveals for me was, and especially in this today's world, to be a successful CFO, you kind of have to have a couple different legs of the stool. So when I first came into it, I really had kind of world-class capital markets and analytics and that kind of understanding. That was really um, valuable to me and useful, but that was only one leg of the stool. I had studied accounting and, of course, worked with accounting in those roles in a way, but I really needed a more in-depth kind of technical accounting knowledge, which I've bolstered over time. But I was light, I think, in that first role, and then, of course, the third role is just being part of a management team. When you're an investment banker, you tend to be very much, or a consultant, you tend to be very much a maverick, kind of on your own and hunter killer and working on your next deal, et cetera. So understanding the dynamic of where you fit in that team and how you contribute and how you can convey information and how you can leverage that information. And then finally, leadership. And, I'll tell you, I heard this concept probably 20 years ago for the first time, servant leadership. And it meant nothing to me. In fact, I kind of brushed it off at the time. And as I have grown in these roles and I have managed more and more people, it's a very important and powerful concept to me. And a lot of people misunderstand it. I took one of these tests as I was searching for this role. And it was a profile, and there were a lot of questions about, do you take people's opinion into account when you're making business decisions? And, frankly, I don't. I don't care about people's opinions. I care about hard data, and I care about what's best for the business and the team. That's not servant leadership. Servant leadership is really understanding people and where they're coming from. And, for example, in one of the roles, I had a woman who was just an incredible producer, and all of a sudden she just completely fell apart. Nobody understood what really went on with her, and she didn't want to share anything. But because we were fairly close as a team, and I was very close to her, she confided in me what had been going on with her family and things. And that became an extremely important thing to understand, because it would have been very easy to just send her on her way, to restructure around her or whatever. But giving her some time so that she could get through that and come back to the team not only engendered more trust in the team and more openness. And again, in finance, it's very important. People have to be uncovering problems and being honest with one